What's up everyone, it's Caddy with Money Investing. So thank you so much for joining in. If you guys can hear me, if you guys can see me, let me know in the live chat. So welcome on board. Good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for joining. Just let me know in the live chat if you guys can see me and hear me without any issues or difficulties, and we should be all set. Okay, the market's slightly down. We got the S&P down about 35 basis points. We got the NASDAQ down about 12 basis points. And we got the Dow down over 39 basis points as well. So thank you so much all for tuning in. Good evening from Indonesia. That's great. Shout out to you. Thanks for joining. So the jobs numbers came out today. Well, the non-official job numbers, because ADP is a company in the United States that basically releases the jobs numbers a couple days prior to the actual government report. So you'll notice that we actually added only 330,000 jobs last month. That's the month of July. So again, this is a lagging indicator. We're always reporting for the previous month. The smallest gain since February, after a revised 680,000 gain in June, according to ADP Research Institute data released on Wednesday. The figure fell short of all economist estimates in the Bloomberg survey. The median estimate was for a 690,000 rise. So that's pretty much half, right? Big miss there in my opinion. And since the beginning of the pandemic, I believe all the economists have been pretty much wrong on their estimates for the jobs numbers. We've either come in really short of expectations or really high of expectations as well. So you'll notice leisure and hospitality gained the most at 139,000. Then we have healthcare, social assistance at 55,000. We have professional business services at 54,000, trade, transportation, utilities at 36,000, manufacturing at 8,000, and construction. Construction for the past, I want to say like 2 to 3 months has been going down. It's been kind of like a negative increase. In other words, people are getting more laid off in construction as opposed to actually gaining jobs in that sector. Part of that reason could be because of the rising material cost. A lot of them are not actually working because of how rapidly the material cost has actually gone up, so there's not a lot of projects to go after. So they're taking the summer off, so maybe that's one of the reasons why construction isn't really picking up, and manufacturing as well. But leisure hospitality could be because of the reopening of the economy, as there's a huge demand influx in that sector. Healthcare, social assistance as well, so that's really interesting to know. And the slowdown in hiring underscores the challenges of a full labor market recovery. Firms are trying to keep pace with that unleashing pent-up demand, but it will take time to fill a now record number of open positions. So this is also indicating potentially for the JOLTS report that actually comes out tomorrow. So this right here is going to be our calendar. So August 9th, actually not tomorrow, but next week after Friday. So tomorrow, Friday, we have the non-farm payrolls for the month of July, and we're also going to find out the unemployment rate. By the way, let me know in the live chat, what do you guys think about the unemployment rate in the US? Right now we're sitting at 5.9%. Where do you think we're probably going to end up after Friday? Is it going to be like well over 6%? Is it going to be lower at 5.8, 5.7%? What is your guys' estimates in terms of the unemployment rate? Where do you see us sitting after Friday? Because again, job numbers coming in lower than expectations, meaning that we added less jobs, meaning there was less participation. That could result in the unemployment rate once again taking a little bit higher. We actually did see the unemployment rate go up from 5.8% to 5.9% coming in from May to June. So July is once again going to be very interesting. Yeah, so that's that. And then JOLTS report also comes out on Monday. So not this week, but next week on Monday. Right now we're sitting at 9.2 million jobs, so we'll see where that number sits in terms of the number of job openings in the U.S. Jerome Powell has also mentioned several times that after September, after fall, we may see labor market pick up rapidly. And again, this is a strong labor market. A lot of people want to work, but it's just that getting people back to work has been the biggest challenge because of, number one, many people are still afraid of public facing because of the ongoing pandemic, and of course with the new Delta variant, of course that's not helping situations even further. And the second thing is because of the schools that haven't reopened yet, right? Colleges, universities, schools in general, once they reopen back up, a lot of kids will go back into schools, and of course a lot of parents don't have to stay home, take care of their kids, they can go back into the workforce. And the third is the unemployment benefits, right? They expire after September, if I'm not mistaken, and that will basically encourage a lot of people to go back and find more jobs. So maybe going into fall, we may start seeing that number kind of increase month over month, but this is still a very, very drastic miss in terms of jobs numbers. So that could be one of the reasons why the market is pulling back a little bit. So SPY is down about 30 basis points. That was perhaps the only economic data that was on our list that was coming out today. So and then crude oil inventories. Let's take a quick look at where crude oil is trading. So go over to our energy watch list. So we got US oil, UK oil, Brent, and crude. They're down about 2%. So I'm assuming crude oil inventories supply in general is a little bit higher than the demand right now, which is bringing prices down. Again, this is speculation. I'll still need to check that report, but let's take a quick look on some of the energy stocks. So Chevron down about 1.5% pre-market. We got ExxonMobil also down 1.2% as Brent and crude both basically slide here. So look at crude oil trading as low as $60.60. So we're seeing that potential crackdown once again. And then this right here is going to be Brent, really sliding all the way down to $70 a barrel. So thank you so much for joining in. Quickly wanted to go over some of those market updates. And then some of the earnings that we are also going to break down, and then we'll kind of cover some of the individual stocks as well, such as Tesla, NIO, a lot of other ones as well. But still, nobody's mentioned what the unemployment rate is. What do you guys think we're going to be on Friday? Do you guys see us kind of ticking higher to 6%, 6.1%, or kind of bringing us back down to 5.8, 5.7%? So let me know in the live chat, because I want to get your feedback too. I want to know what you guys think in terms of the jobs report and how many jobs we're going to add, and then where the unemployment rate is going to sit on Friday, because of course that's a big labor market situation that Jerome Powell again needs to address in future FOMC meetings. That's really going to drive substantial further progress. Right? That's quote unquote what they basically label as substantial further progress, is the improvement that we see in the labor market. If there's no improvement, they're going to continue with the QE, continue with the quantitative easing, continue to buy $120 billion in bonds and asset purchases and mortgage-backed securities. So if that doesn't happen, there's not going to be any quantitative tightening. So, all right, so we got a couple 6%, 6.1, 6%, 5.7%. All right, so mostly people think that we're going to either stay neutral or tick up higher a little bit next this coming Friday. All right, so a couple earnings that I wanted to break down. First one is CVS Health. It's actually down 4% last time I checked. They raised estimates after strong earnings, but the shares are still down, which in my opinion is a bit of an overreaction for the company. So you'll notice that they outpaced analyst expectations for fiscal second quarter earnings and raised its forecast for the year as customers return to doctor offices and more typical shopping patterns. Yet shares of the company fell 4% in pre-market trading. Let's take a quick look. So the drugstore chain and health insurer said its business has begun to normalize as customers buy more items in the front of the store and pharmacists fill more prescriptions. It said use of healthcare benefits has returned to a more typical pattern too, as people resume medical visits and procedures. I'm interested to find out how that's going to play out moving forward with the new Delta variant as the number of cases continue to go up, and if those original, like the previous patterns are going to return, those behavioral patterns, or if this is going to continue to be a trend where it starts to normalize even more. So same-store sales rose 12.3% in the second quarter. EPS was at $2.42 adjusted versus $2.06. That was the estimate. Revenue came in at $72.6 billion versus $70.3. So double beat, both revenue and EPS beat, and they're also investing in more stores moving forward. So basically, CVS said that it will focus on making investments for future growth rather than increasing dividend payments or share buybacks. And CVS said it will increase employee wages, expand health services at stores, and add more digital options for customers. So I think it's a very similar report to what we just looked at for Walgreens a couple of weeks ago, they're also kind of establishing a more digital sort of experience for the users, for the customers, and also increasing like their pharmacies and kind of reinvesting their profits and their cash flows back into the business to fuel further growth instead of like, you know, paying dividends or doing share buybacks. Even though Walgreens does have a 4% yield. But in my opinion, this is a bit of an overreaction for CVS. I mean, they reported great numbers, right? Double beat, great guidance. And the stock is down like 4.8%, 5%, trading almost at this support at $79 to $80 a share. So we'll kind of continue to monitor this, because if this continues to sell off, if this is a bit of an overreaction, there could be opportunity for CVS as well, as it has like a 2.4, 2.5% yield, so it's not a bad value play to hold as well, in my opinion. So we'll continue to monitor the stock as well. GM also dropped, I think. So right now GM is also down over 4%. So I do have the earnings for that very quickly before the markets open in about 8 minutes. So this right here is GM. They also actually reported decent revenues and raised their future guidance, but actually missed on EPS. So adjusted EPS for them came in at $1.97 versus $2.23. And revenue was $34.17 billion versus $30.9. So revenue beat with a massive beat there. That's a $4 billion beat for the company. And just slight miss on the EPS. And I think that's because that they were dragged down by some $1.3 billion in warranty recall costs, including $800 million related to the Chevrolet Bolt EV. So I haven't really looked into what that car looks like, but apparently that's the electric version for GM that they have, one of the models. So the automaker raised its adjusted full year guidance to between 11.5 and 13.5 billion, or $5.40 to $6.40 a share, up from 10 billion to 11 billion, or $4.50 to $5.25 a share. So raising their guidance, top line revenue beat, EPS slightly came in shorter than expectations. Urban says the black car. Yeah, I haven't really looked into that, but I can only imagine how much they're selling for that electric vehicle. But on an unadjusted basis, net income was 2.8 billion for the second quarter, compared with a loss of 758 million a year earlier. So even this company, in my opinion, seems a bit of an overreaction, because year to date, this stock is up over 39%. So there are some support levels that we're watching at closer to like 53, all the way as low as $49. So we'll kind of continue to monitor General Motors as well. I forgot, I recently watched a video. Was it, they actually released, was it the GM Hummer? Correct me if I'm wrong, but there might have been like two vehicles that they actually released. There was a video released by MKBHD on YouTube where he reviews the GM Hummer. Was it actual General Motors brand, or was it a different brand? Do I have it wrong for some other brand, or was it the actual, this company? Electric Hummer, yeah. I mean, those things were so cool. Like if you look at that video, that was like really, really good. I mean, they look fantastic. Utility wise, I mean, it's a really, really good competitor to Cybertruck, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, those trucks were like really good. So electric Hummer, all in all, I think it was, and the different type of like vertical, like I don't know how to say it or how to explain it. It's like you have this feature where you don't even have to like move the tires, but it kind of goes diagonal. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, but like it kind of moves diagonal if you don't want to pivot the tire in a certain way. I forgot what that feature was called, but it was really cool to kind of watch that video. But again, we'll be watching, crab walk, something like that. So it was like really interesting to learn about that. But anyway, so I'll be watching some support levels for GM as well. I think this is a bit of an overreaction that it's down over 4%. Another stock that I want to quickly go over before the markets open here in 5 minutes is going to be this company. Take-Two Interactive. They also fell over 7% on Monday. Actually, they're still pretty down from their all-time highs, and the price to earnings, price to sales, very decent right now, right? For a software company, for like a gaming company, it's very, very interesting trading at these attractive levels. So you'll notice that it actually basically fell in extended session Monday after the video game publisher topped earnings estimates for the quarter, but provided a weaker than expected forecast and said it was delaying the release of some titles. So fiscal second quarter earnings at 35 cents to 45 cents a share on revenue of 740 to 790 million, and $1.95 to $2.20 a share on revenue of 3.14 billion to 3.24 billion for the year. So that's their future guidance for the company. But you'll notice that the actual, here, let me see if I can find it. So the main reasons why they actually dropped were because they needed more time, so they actually delayed some of the releases. So this is Take-Two Interactive, ticker symbol TTWO. So here, let me pull that up very quickly. So the stock we're talking about is over here. So I think they release, they've got very, very strong brands with Grand Theft Auto and some of the NBA 2K. Here, let me see if I can go over that very quickly. So we got Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption under its Rockstar Games labels, and Borderlands and NBA 2K and 2K label as well. There's only one game that I've actually loved out of this list is the Grand Theft Auto, which I've personally played and really enjoyed. But considering that it's come down over 7% on Monday, the valuations come down to really reasonable levels. I mean, if you take a look at the price of sales here, it's trading at 6 times sales. I think even lower when I checked on Yahoo Finance, and it's trading at 30 times price to earnings. Forward P is I think less than 20. So this is a stock on the watch list for sure, and we're watching it roughly close to at this $151 level for the company as well. Like very oversold at the moment. The RSI trading almost at 33. And yeah, let me know in the live chat if you guys actually know this company or if you're familiar with the products and the services that they offer. But so Cybertruck getting crab walk also. Okay, that's good to know. That'd be interesting. That would be really nice. All right, so let's take a quick look on a couple stocks here before we start our market open. So I'm going to split this screen in 4 ways. Tesla pretty much flat at the moment. So we're trading at 710. 700 is going to be the support level for Tesla stock. So on the day, that's the level that we want to make sure that Tesla basically closes above $700. I think somebody asked me about AMD stock. What are your thoughts on AMD since it's extremely overbought? So yeah, I mean AMD is or has been a beast of a stock, right? It's up another 1.7% pre-market. Wow. I mean, this was a stock that has been on my high conviction list for a really long time, since the beginning of this year. I mean, I had a price target at 110. That was a price target I had on the stock, but now I feel like it's fully realizing its potential, and it's now starting to fully emerge as Nvidia and some of the other high flyers that we've seen earlier this year. So I think it's time for AMD to finally shine. I did rebalance a little bit, did trim a little bit. If you're part of our Discord, you would have seen that alert go off. But for the most part, I'm letting this thing run as much as it can. Next target or the next resistance, there is no actual resistance because it's trading at all-time highs. So there's not a clear sort of resistance that we can map out. But the next target I'd have is going to be at closer to 135. So that is going to be a jump of another 18-19%, which seems a little bit unlikely. In my opinion, it is unlikely considering that the RSI is well over 83. The MACD is also really pushing higher. So, we are overbought. No doubt about that. So we are overbought. We have vertically moved up quite a bit. If I bring out some of the moving averages, we have just been consistently, I mean, this has been since July 19th. It hasn't really seen a red day, like a really proper red day. This is like down about 86 basis points, but every dip has been bought up for advanced micro devices. So very happy with this and continue to hold over the long term. And I trust that the management's doing a great job. We looked into the earnings. We've broken down the earnings as well. So not really doing anything with a little bit of trims here and there, but that's about it. All right, so let's go over to the market open here. So we got about 2 seconds, and there we go. So NIO is up over 2% right now. With Tesla also back up to over $711. This right here is going to be advanced micro devices, trading at past over $114. And let's just put right here is going to be AMC. That's also up over 2%. So we got the broader markets right there. We're going to put the NASDAQ index with SPX and the DJI. So Dow down about 159 points. We got the S&P down about 30 basis points. And we got the NASDAQ pretty much flat on the day. So let's see where we actually trade. So VIX is up over 4.6, not quite at our 20 levels, but it has been kind of elevated, right? It's trading in the high teens for quite some time now, like since July 26, 27. So I'd say it's still pretty elevated, and it's just reluctant to actually go down. That does mean that there is still potential for a correction for the S&P, which is why really not doing some aggressive buying. Doing a little bit of buying here and there, but not just like going like all in. And like these are deals because there aren't as many, in my opinion, at the moment. So, all right. So we got CVS down over 3.7. We got Fubo TV down over 1. I'll break down PayPal, Uber, and a lot of other companies that you guys are mentioning, including Skills, in just a second. Just a quick scan on the markets here. All right, so let's take a look. All right, so CVS, Fubo, Growth Generation, Lemonade, Plug Power, slightly green. NNDM is down about 80 basis points. We got ARKG ETF down about 48. Upwork is 94 basis points in the green. Square is down. Corsair Gaming down about 1.3. Peloton is also in the red. Hood, look at, oh my god. Look at Robinhood. Wow. Look at that candle, almost at $60 a share. It's up over 28%. It's funny because if you go back 24 hours, we were just talking about this stock in our yesterday's live stream. Literally, we were talking about it at market open. And where was this stock? At $37, right at that level. Right there at market open. So I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me just pull it up on the top chart. So yeah, I mean, market open right there 24 hours ago, it was like right there. And since then, the stock has actually moved up over 57%. Oof. Yeah, I said I wasn't buying it. I did say that. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, definitely missing out on that one. So yeah, but yeah, strong move from Robinhood here. Definitely pushing to the upside. So Murali, we actually went over CVS's earnings report, so you can kind of go back on the live stream, check out the report that we broke down, did some technical analysis as well. And then we kind of jumped. Then you can jump over to the live feed. But NEO is staying a little bit in the green here. AMD $115.85, just hit another new all-time high for advanced micro devices. And Tesla is also at $712. But Robinhood, wow. I mean, just a really strong move to the upside. I mean, yesterday it was up. So let's take a quick look on Hood here on the daily chart. What does it look like? So look at that move from a few days ago, from $33 to $66. That's almost a 100% return for the company. But it has a huge gap that it's left. So that right there is going to be the gap we're going to be watching. So TTWO, just watching this. So yeah, it's starting to move up a little bit. We also broke down this earnings earlier today before pre-market. So up another 1.5%. So this right here is going to be the support level for Take-Two Interactive at close to 161, 162 for this company. What do you guys think about the broader markets? I want to know what you guys think about the S&P, the NASDAQ. I feel like every dip is just getting bought up really, really quickly. It's just been, every time we see a pullback, it just gets bought up very quickly for the S&P, for the NASDAQ. So we haven't really seen like a proper pullback or a correction. So what do you guys think about the broader markets? All right, so let's just go over a couple stocks here. AMD is insane, all-time high, all day, every day. Yep, so $116 now, up another 3%. I mean, the bears on the stock or people who bought puts thinking that it's overbought are just not enjoying their days. I mean, like I said, the stock can remain overbought. It can remain, very persistently. The RSI can remain overbought. The MACD can remain overbought, which is why I'm not a huge believer in kind of selling only because it's overbought, because I always want to be staying invested in the company with a little bit of trims that you can do. You can always rebalance your portfolio with that position, right? If it gets overweight in your allocation, you can always rebalance. But if you have a really strong company that you believe in that's fundamentally sound, then just hold on to it forever, pretty much. I mean, long term, if they continue to produce those growth rates, I don't see why AMD can't be at 150 or 200 or like a market cap at well over 200 billion or 250 billion, right? So Nvidia is trading at 500 billion. Who's to say that AMD can't get up to that level as they continue to kind of gain more market share from Intel as well. So that's kind of like the reasoning. But for AMD, like 120, are we going to be able to hit 120? We'll see. But all right, let's take a look at Square here. So Square is down 1.3%. It's had a really, really, really strong run recently. I mean, 10% in a single day. It was almost trading at all-time highs at 275, 280 levels. So I think it's warranted that we're seeing a bit of a pullback here. I'm interested to find out how Amazon's doing. So Amazon had a really strong run up yesterday to 33, what is it, 33.87, 33.90 after a perfect bounce off of that 3300. I mean, we literally just came down to 3300, right? So this was a support that we talked about in our market update right there. We literally came down to 32.99 and the buyers just stepped in. Literally just stepped in for Amazon to push us all the way $100, almost $100 gain right there from bottom to top. So Amazon, I fully expect for the gap to get filled eventually for us to push back over 3,500. But we'll see. It's going to take some time, but eventually I do see that happening. Yeah, so AMD is up another 4%. Oh my God. Strong move here. Robinhood's halted, up another 40% at $65. Wow. Wow. Tesla's just hovering at 710, so there's a lot of action right now for the raw markets. All right, let's just go over skills very quickly. Just a quick update here. So skills is down over 6%. Next support, well, the support level to watch in general is going to be 1250. That's been the level that I've mentioned in our live streams as well. But let's just very quickly do a fundamental analysis, or just look at this. Price to sales 33. It doesn't have an EPS yet, I'm assuming, so there's no price to earnings. But 33 times sales after this sell-off that we've seen for skills, right? So this is a drop of 73%. After this drop, it's trading at 33 times sales. What do you guys think? Is that a good valuation, or is that a rich valuation? Is that an undervaluation for the company? Trading at 33 times sales. Let me know in the live chat, what do you guys think about scales, and then we'll kind of break down some of the other stocks as well. But I want to hear from you guys and what you think. 33 times sales for a stock, is that reasonable? Is that good, or is that so yeah, we'll break down Palantir as well in just a second. But let me know from scales, from you guys, if 33 times sales is a good valuation, or is it higher or lower. So yeah, so rich valuation, but probably doesn't matter in this market. So overvalued. Yep. So that's true. Anything that trades at over 20, 30 times sales, in my opinion, it's overvalued. So those are price to earnings that we look at, 20, 30 levels, right? But price to sales 30, in my opinion, it's overvalued. So skills, I think we have traded it a couple times. It's only meant to be, in my opinion, in my book, it's only meant to be a swing trade just yet, until the price either comes down or the valuation becomes more reasonable, more attractive for us to take a longer term position or longer term view on this company. Until then, this will only be traded and not held, in my opinion, for the long term. So 1250 is going to be the support level to watch right now. All right, so let's take a look at the markets here. So AMD at $118 a share. Wow. This is amazing. So Oscar says, I hold AMD and it is really getting out of hand. I want to ask, how many people actually hold AMD in our Discord? That's the real question I'm going to put right now in our market update. So quick poll. All right, quick poll. Add reaction. I'm just gonna add a thumbs up. I'm just curious. And we'll just kind of circle back to that. Dave says, told you so. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. The good thing I only trimmed 25%. I was really tempted, but I still believe in the company a lot. I think it's worth a lot more. I think we're seeing a very similar move like we saw with Nvidia. So AMD to the moon, exactly like Nvidia. But this is has been a really strong move. Oof. So we got 1710 so far. So 17 people hold it, 10 people don't hold it right now so far, the poll. But Robinhood just resumed trading, and it's now up over 52%. I wonder what's going on over here. It's just I feel like a lot of FOMO is now starting to kick in for Robinhood. All right, let's just put NEO over here on the top right. So Neo's also having a decent day, up over 2.3%. We got Shopify that's up. We got Spotify, Alibaba. Look at that. Alibaba's up over 2% today, 2.4, trading back over $202. So congratulations to all Alibaba holders. So SoFi struggling at $16. That's the level that we're going to be watching for SoFi stock, but yeah, so Square, Bruce says, I had Square for months, even read, nice profit now. Yeah, for a lot of these, some of these companies, you know, if your conviction's good, if your conviction is there, if fundamentally they make sense to you, right, patience will eventually pay off, right? If you believe in the company, if you understand the fundamentals, if you understand the business, and you're patient enough, eventually it will work out, right? You just have to believe in your analysis and your thesis. Most often than not, it's just, you know, we either get tired out, or we basically think that, you know, it's the opportunity cost of holding this stock is not worth it, so might as well sell. And then what happens? It works out exactly how you anticipated, right? Sometimes you just need a little bit more patience for the play to actually work out. So now, yes, I am in AMD as well. Have been since the beginning of this year. We've done some extensive analysis. We looked into the earnings. We looked into a lot of different things. Everything kind of lined up, and it's more than surpassed the target at 110. So $118 is now the all-time high for the stock. So can't even trade on Robinhood. They put a hold on it. Which stock are you talking about, Danny? Is it AMC or is it some other stock? So AMC is up over 1%, so that's good. Pre-market, it has been moving up since like $32, $33. So it's a good jump of 7%. Hood, okay, gotcha. Wow, so Robinhood is basically putting a hold on their own stock. You can't trade it. That's so ironic. But I think it's halted again. If you go over to the 5-second charts here, I mean, you'll notice it's a clean move to the upside. I believe that's the 9 EMA. That's the 21 EMA. It's just been validating. This is the 5-second chart, so this is not even 1 minute candles. But just look at on the 1 minute chart, it's vertical straight up. Strong move, $77. That's a market cap now at well over $55 billion. Wow. All right, so NASDAQ is slightly up. We got the Dow now over 200 points in the red, and we got the S&P also down over 33 basis points. All right, quick update on the poll. We got 23 people that say that they hold AMD and 15 that don't. Interesting. All right, so we got Nvidia still up at $200. So AMD is now breaking out to new all-time highs at almost $119. We got Alibaba, that's good. Yep, so that's up. Enphase Energy is also up to 195. We got Mara, look at that. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting more selling for Bitcoin. But let's take a quick look at cryptos. We've actually been buying so much. Well, I have been buying so much Mara recently that it's just like it's fun to actually buy more. But Bitcoin is up over 2.4%. So Mara is up 5% on the day. So back up to $28.50. For those of you who are part of our Discord, you probably know. Pretty much one alert during the day is for Mara. Just goes out. Do you think is Robinhood gonna hit like $100 today? What do you guys think? In the live chat, just let me know. If Robinhood is actually gonna hit $100 a share. So Nicholas, no, I don't actually trade Cardano. I personally have no crypto whatsoever. Mara is actually my Bitcoin play because right now I'm in a jurisdiction that may or may not like have any issues with cryptocurrencies and holding it. So I rather just like understand that, you know, in the future, you know, there may or could be any issues in the future. So I'm rather just holding on to Mara right now. That's kind of like my Bitcoin equivalent to what I have. So target price at 155. Gian, is it for Robinhood? Is that for Robinhood stock at 155 target? or is that for another stock? Upstart is up as well. Let's take a look. So, all right, Robinhood. Okay, that's interesting. Upstart, it's kind of like a love and hate relationship with the stock right now, because every time it moves up, and I literally mentioned this in a live stream yesterday, that just watch it get rejected at this red rectangle. Like right here inside this red rectangle you guys see, that's exactly why I have that resistance, because I know there's supply there. There's just so many orders sitting, and every time we get up there, sellers come in to bring us back down. Like we've just struggled to break out over 134.50 for so long. Even yesterday we pumped all the way to highs of 139.41, but then it was not able to close above that level, right? And there's significant volume. I mean, if you take a look at the volume's good. We've got like 5 million, 6 million, right? We got 7 million shares traded, 10 million shares traded. So there's plenty of volume, but it's just that Upstart has a lot of sell orders right there. At 134.50, anything over 134.50 inside that red rectangle is going to be the previous supply or the resistance. All right, so why sell AMD at 110? So AMD 110 was my target, and I only trimmed a little bit. So 110 was my target from the beginning of this year. My target is achieved, so I'm not going to kind of question myself. That's my target price. It's hit, and I'm trimming my position, I'm rebalancing my portfolio. Still in it a lot with 75% of my position, so holding it well over if the fundamentals continue to make sense, then in my opinion this stock is still undervalued. The valuation now has moved up, so market cap now sits at 143 billion. So you have to kind of understand the valuation has moved up. Technically also it's a little bit overbought, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a bit of a pullback here in the coming days or weeks. All right, so what do you think about the market? Look at Nasdaq. Every time MACD turns bearish or drop, plus short-term MACD and RSI divergence. So, all right, let's take a look. So right now, you'll notice that we do have on the daily chart the Nasdaq, the MACD has been pulling back, even though we have the price going up. And again, you're right, there is a divergence, right? So in the market updates, we've been talking about the price as it continues to move higher, so that's the higher highs. But the MACD and the RSI continue to make these lower highs. So there is divergence, which is exactly why I want you guys to be careful. Obviously, not do like significant amount of buying at these levels, because this is like uncharted territory. We could see like a correction very soon, or it could also continue to rip higher. It's like one of those things where you want to stay invested while being prepared and being cautiously optimistic about the markets and being prepared for a potential pullback. So 14,800 is a resistance, or the level that we are watching right now. So on the day we got rejected at 14,792. So we'll see if we actually get a little bit of a pullback once again. So do you trim a stock to get money for a correction? I would personally only trim if the target price is achieved. In the case of AMD, like for Amazon, not yet. It's a $4,000 price target, so I'm not touching that. Apple, my price target was at 150. We got a double top at 150. Didn't quite trim just yet. But I would only trim the position if the target price that I have from a fundamental basis, if it makes sense for me to rebalance my portfolio with that position, right? So that's the only way I would trim. The only other way I would get out of a position is if the fundamentals drastically change, right? So if the company is now reporting growth, if the revenues are decelerating, they're declining year over year for whatever reason, then I'll kind of take a look at it, and then I'll have to make an assessment whether it's worth holding on or if it's time to actually cut out of that position. So those are some of the reasons why I would personally trim. But other than that, I mean, if it's a long-term play, it's a long-term play. You just let it be. For a lot of companies, like Amazon is a great example, right? It's been so volatile lately that it's dropped over 7%. It's had a huge rally up to new all-time highs, but personally I haven't really touched it. I haven't done anything with it because it's a longer-term play. Still believe that AWS is going to perform really well, and other segments are also going to do really well for the company. So Dave says, I will be trimming some AMD later today or by the weekend. That's good. That's great to know. And again, congratulations on the profit, Dave. That's awesome. I know that you bought it close to $74. That was a great support level, in my opinion, for AMD, and super undervalued at those levels. All right, let's take a quick look at some of the other stocks here. Let's take a look at Vertex, VRTX. How's that doing? All right, so up over 60 basis points, not like a huge move, so back up to over $200 a share. That's still good. Corsair Gaming, let's take a quick look. Still down over 1.29% after the gap down. We did come up to fill majority of that gap. So yesterday we filled that gap and then we were right back down. Support on the day, like right now, is at 26.50. Previous resistance also validated support, so low for the day 26.50. So that is the support level to watch for Corsair right now. All right, let's take a look at Fiverr. Fiverr reports earnings tomorrow. So right now we are kind of bouncing off of this 50 exponential moving average. We're up another 3%. So the target or the resistance is sitting at close to $258. So that right there is going to be the level to watch for Fiverr. Palantir. I think Palantir is gearing up for a strong move. I really do think that Palantir is kind of going unnoticed right now. They've got earnings coming up on the 11th, actually on the 12th. $21 by all means, in my opinion, is a strong area of demand. Like this level right here, there's just a lot of demand for Palantir at those levels. Every time we've kind of dipped down to 21, it's gone bought up. So I think ahead of earnings, it's now starting to gear up for a potential breakout over that $23 level. So that right there is going to be the resistance level to watch. We are making like these higher highs, well actually these higher lows and these lower highs as well. So in my opinion, there is a high probability that we see a potential move to the upside. It's just been coiling in and there's volume that's kind of decreasing. So after the earnings, I do expect Palantir to at least break out over $23 once again to potentially make its way back up to 25, 26 bucks. That's going to be a jump of 10-15%. And this right here was the last time we actually saw it dip below 21. That was on earnings when they actually reported great earnings. Beat on revenue and meet on EPS. I think it was like 4 cents per share. But I do expect if there is strong customer growth, currently sitting at 149 customers, if there's strong customer growth for the company, revenues increase, they provide us with a strong guidance as well. I expect Palantir to make a move to the upside. Right, so unfortunately, AMC is now down about 0.5%. Robinhood is kind of stabilizing right now, so the high for the day, $85 right on the dot. That's also the all-time high for the company. Just now starting to stabilize a little bit on the day. Tesla is still hovering around $711. That's good. As long as it can stay above 700, that's a strong support level that we want Tesla to maintain on the day as well. Let's take a quick look at Apple. Then we'll cover like Zillow. We'll cover a couple other stocks as well. Apple at 147, pretty much flat on the day. So, all right, target price for Palantir is at closer to $50, but this is not a target price for this year. It's for 2025. So $50 is going to be 100% return, more than 100% return from its current levels. So let's take a quick look. So $50 is going to be 124% gain. Annualized, that's going to be roughly about 20. I believe that's going to be 20 to 25% gain annualized for the next 5 years. So that's the target price. Considering that they're able to do more than $4 billion in revenue, that's what they've actually told us. They've told us 30% compounded annual growth rate for the next 5 years. I'm expecting that to be very conservative from the company. So I expect them to actually report much higher numbers. And come 2025, I expect them to be somewhere in between $8 to $10 billion range in terms of revenue. So we'll kind of continue to monitor this. And that really means that Palantir needs to kind of address some of the smaller businesses and medium businesses that can't quite afford Palantir's software, because the average revenue per customer for Palantir is also $8 million. So if a company is spending $8 million in revenue, if a company is spending $8 million in software with Palantir, it's not a small company. It's a pretty big, sizable company that's spending a lot of money, right? So I would personally like Palantir to kind of dive in deeper into the smaller business sector. That's where they're actually able to scale with more customers and bring more revenue in. Yeah, so Baba is doing really well today, right? So up over 2.2%. Strong move after the $180 support. The next resistance I'd watch is the lower high right here. That's going to be the lower high for the company. So again, we've just been on this downtrending channel. There is a strong resistance inside this red sort of rectangle. So you'll notice that every time we've kind of traded inside this level, we've just gone rejected several times over here before breaking down. So there is going to be plenty of resistance over here between $225 and $245 per share. So right there. But I do expect Alibaba to fully move up once again. So fully kind of similar to AMD, I do expect Alibaba as well to fully realize its potential and be back over $280, $300 a share. Considering that there's no sort of pressures from the regulators and any more scrutiny from the Chinese government as well. I think that's going to be the biggest reason, because it has like that pressure built in. That's the geopolitical risk that it's going to have, regardless of what the fundamentals do. All right, so all right, just want to appreciate you and all your knowledge you're sharing about the dip on NEO and waited for 30.50, and I got it when just to support. Would never done that without your videos. Thank you. So I appreciate that. I'm glad that was helpful, and congrats on the profit. So appreciate you as well. All right, let's take a quick look on the markets here. So AMD still hovering over 117. Qualcomm is pretty much flat on the day. All right, so Robinhood, SoFi almost at 16, not quite yet, but we got. So this is a stock that I've actually been looking into. All right, let's look at Zillow. All right, so Zillow is up over 2%, $106. This right here is the support, $103.61. You'll notice that low for the day, $103.85. We pretty much got validated at that support today before moving higher. So lower highs being formed for the company. There is going to be some more pressure based on just the PE ratio. Look at 632. So the price to earnings is incredibly high for the company. Give it time. I mean, Zillow has a lot of potential, in my opinion. Like, as the real estate market in general, and the pandemic has only accelerated this behavioral pattern and this trend where a lot of the business when it comes to real estate can also be done over the phone through an app. Open Door is a great example. You can literally buy a house on an app, or sell a house or list a house on an app as well. So I think Zillow, Redfin, Open Door, all these companies, they're doing a great job in kind of digitizing real estate markets, but it's just the inventory which is a little bit dried up and real estate market kind of slowing down. That's what we're seeing for a lot of these companies. When it comes to traffic on their website, on their apps, and just the volume of transactions that they're doing, is slowing down as well. But long term, I do expect the fundamentals to improve. There is going to be a little bit of pressure going into 2023 as well because of the interest rates that are potentially expected to go up. When interest rates go up, there aren't going to be as many refinancings, there aren't going to be as many new home purchases, and when refinancing drops off, when new home purchases slows down, that means less traffic for companies like these. But like I said, over the longer term, I still expect this new trend to take off as well. So all right, so a couple of people saying AMD at 119. Look at that, 119.30 is the all-time high for advanced micro devices. Wow. Just all right, quick update. We got 29 people. Okay, now it kind of hurts me because we got 29. So I did a quick poll in our Discord asking how many people actually owned AMD stock. We have 27 people that actually said they own, and 29 people that said that they don't. That's 29 people. I'm actually, yeah, that's a little bit of a missed opportunity, but that's okay. But you know, for the most part, there's going to be plenty of stocks right now that are going to come down to more like a undervalued level if the market pulls back, right? If we see a correction, there's a bunch of stocks that are on the buy list. Like right here, if you take a look at this buy list, like I'm just waiting. Like I'm literally waiting for these stocks to like come down to my desired levels. Autodesk was a company that we were like swing trading for a long time. It kind of went under the radar. You know, it was like there was a swing trade in play. This was like a couple weeks ago. But look at this move. I mean, this has just been 20% gain. Our target was at 3 or 4, more than surpassed our target and just hitting a new all-time high today. It's at $329. So this was like a stock that was kind of forming this symmetrical triangle, so lower highs and these higher lows, and then we just got a perfect breakout for this company. So that was on the watch list. That was also on the swing trade as well. And then other buy stocks are like my wish list that includes Adobe stock. I want to buy more of that company. We got Etsy reporting tomorrow, so I'm closely watching this company at closer to 154, 155. I think that would be like a great opportunity. That would be a drop of 38% from its all-time highs. We had a previous head and shoulders, then we saw a breakdown, and then we took a couple swing trades on this, and then now it's just hovering around 197, $200. So Rita says I would trim another 20% if it gets to 120. That sounds fair. That sounds great. All right, let's take a look at some of these stocks here. So Uber for Lucas. Let's take a quick look. So Uber, all right, so Uber is now starting to break down even further. Let's see if we can actually find any type of a catalyst on the company. So they reported earnings yesterday, I believe. So Uber did they? No, I don't think they did. So Lyft reported, I don't see Uber on the list. Unless they actually reported their earnings. But anyway, Uber will see improvement in booking trends in second quarter even as it faces sentiment pressure on the back of the acquisition risk, underperforming DD financial stakes, SoftBank stock sales, and Lyft's imminent all right, so here, let me just do that once again. So I'm just getting these alerts. But the investment firm said, despite these concerns, we think Uber will see estimate upside for continuity, mobility recovery, Delta variant as a risk, but Uber somewhat hedged by delivery, and sentiment improved from improving second half take rates and profitability in third and fourth quarter. BofA lifted Q2 estimates to Uber at 22.2 billion, compared with the street view of 21.1 billion, revenue 3.87 billion, above consensus at 3.73, and EBITDA loss of 271 billion. So I think all in all, it's just the new Delta variant that's, I think, a little bit of an overhang on companies like Uber and Airbnb, because they, as more and more people kind of don't go outside, Uber needs that to happen. Uber wants people to go out, right? Wants people to go out and start using their services. I think that's a little bit of a price pressure on both of these companies, including Airbnb and Uber. So right now we are seeing a bit of a breakdown, so I'll actually go ahead and turn this level into a resistance today at $43. So that right there is going to be the level to watch, and its support now is going to be sitting roughly at this $39 to $40 level right there. So $39 is going to be the support for Uber. All right, so AMD high for the day and all-time high at $119.43. Let's take a look at AMC. AMC is trading at $33. We got Robinhood kind of stabilizing now, but pulling back from its all-time highs. Look how much volatility there is for Robinhood right now. So $85 was the all-time high, and just in a snap, like literally in 9 minutes, it dropped 27%. That is just insane volatility for the stock right now, for Robinhood. Tesla is still hovering around 710, but AMD, I'm interested if we actually get up to as high as 120. Like, that would be like crazy. That would be absolutely crazy for advanced micro devices. PayPal is pulling back, $271. Tattooed Chef is at $19.80. Pinterest pretty much flat on the day. So the only stocks that are really green are CVS, Square starting to pull back a little bit, Corsair Gaming down 2%, kind of hovering around 2650 levels. Let's take a quick look on the EV watch list here. All right, so BYD, yes, you are right. So BYD is on fire right now. It's up another 8% today. That's incredible. Nikola's up over 6, XPeng up over 2, NIO's up over 1.3. We got ChargePoint pretty much flat, Tesla's flat. GM is now down over 7%. Wow, look at that drop from General Motors here. So the first support is at $53. So we're like literally testing that level right now. So this right here, the green line, is the support. All the way was $49 for General Motors. Year to date, I feel like this is gonna drop. So now it's 28.9% year to date return for GM. So the Dow is recovering pretty nicely. Look at the Dow, back up to 35,000. We got the S&P is still pretty much flat, and now we got the NASDAQ pulling back on the 5-minute chart here. All right, let's just continue on this. Go over to some of the SPY holdings, see what stocks are actually really green versus really red. So Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, Delta, Carnival, like recovery stocks, all red. Royal Caribbean down over 4.8% right now. Just bring that over here. So yeah, down over 4.8%, really seeing that momentum to the downside here. Norwegian's down over 3.5%. We got Delta, Carnival, Southwest, American Airlines. I mean, it's so clear that all these stocks are down. So recovery plays are actually not doing so well. Boeing is down about 1%. Exxon, Chevron, we already covered pre-market. But AMD is perhaps the only one that's actually really green. Let's see where Intel is trading. Somebody mentioned Intel is really red. Not really. I mean, it's still down 41 basis points. So I'd say like decent. Not a whole lot. Boston Beer. How many of you guys actually know about Boston Beer? Ticker symbol SAM. SAM. This had a huge gap down on like missed earnings and very soft guidance. They mentioned that some of their drinks are not really doing so well anymore. But what do you guys think about this company? I've done some fundamental analysis, but it's kind of hard for me to project what the market is going to look like, what the revenue growth is going to look like, because again, like 2020 was a great year for this company too. You know, now the price to earnings is at 37, price to sales at 4, but you may not think, but like, of course, it's not a tech company, but the pandemic unfortunately was actually good for this company too, because a lot of people were at home, they were ordering a lot of beverages, which of course include a lot of alcoholic beverages as well, but we've seen a huge gap down for the company. I mean, it's down over almost 50% from its all-time highs. So there's a huge gap in white that we could potentially see a fill in, but it's on my watch list. Definitely keeping a close eye on this stock too. All right, so let's just go back over to this. All right, that's that. eBay has come down. I think eBay had a really strong drop a couple days ago. Yeah, Truly Sales helped Sam in the pandemic. eBay is just hovering over that 50 EMA. So you'll notice that we actually came down over 7% on July 30th. I think that's the day when PayPal reported. I could be wrong. So July 29th is when they actually reported. So July 30th, actually July 28th. So July 29th. Yeah, so eBay actually, I think, mentioned that they're not going to be using PayPal anymore. But sitting above the 50 EMA. So definitely, if you get a bounce. Usually in the past, it hasn't validated that 50 EMA. Otherwise, this would have been a perfect dip buying opportunity or like a swing trade opportunity for the stock. But in the past, you'll notice that we have actually broken down several times. Like this wasn't validated here, wasn't validated here, wasn't validated here. So 50 EMA doesn't really quite validate eBay stock. Even though we're perfectly sitting over here, there's probably a small opportunity for it to break down even further. All right, so we've been doing this for about an hour, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and spend some time with our Discord members and our Patreon members. If you're not already a part of it, the link is gonna be down in the description below. If you wish to join and get those real-time updates and real-time market updates as well. So Andrew, what's going on? Shout out to Boston, Massachusetts. So Andrew's one of my friends from Massachusetts. So thank you so much for joining in. And AMD, yeah, AMD is doing really well. New all-time high at $119. Almost at 118.32, so that's awesome. Congrats. But again, yeah, I know you just joined and I'm just leaving, but thank you so much for joining in, everyone. I really appreciate your guys' support. Hope you guys have a great green day, and of course, make sure that you check out the Webull link down in the description below as well, and the Patreon link if you want to join and get those real-time alerts and join our Discord as well. So thank you so much. I will see you guys in the next live stream. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace.